Hi, my name is Ava Watson, and I will be doing my presentation today on Vladimir Lenin. So, first off, we're going to talk about his childhood and his education. So, he was born into a middle-class family, and he grew up with seven siblings. So there was eight of them altogether. I couldn't really find too much about his childhood necessarily, but obviously, like growing up in a middle class family with seven siblings, it's got to be like pretty hard, and they probably fell on some hard times here and there. So you can imagine that that would like influence his viewpoints later on in life. So he went to Kazan State University. I probably pronounced that wrong. For a while until he got expelled for protesting against the king of the Russian Empire at the time. So eventually, after some petitioning from jail, he ended up testing out and getting his law degree. Okay, so now talking about his worldview and how it was shaped by just his life experiences, locations, and like the time period that he lived in. So Lenin's worldview was greatly shaped by the publishings of Karl Marx. Okay, but it was also shaped through his brother and the way that he looked up to him after his brother's death. So his brother was executed for plotting to kill the king of the Russian Empire. Ever since then, he had a fire that built up inside of him, and he started studying socialism and fighting against like tyranny, obviously. He also practiced law in Samaria, which just fired him up even more on this cause and on communism and socialism. And so after that, he focused more on the problems of the legal system, including class biases and other lawyers. And then, obviously, eventually, throughout his life, he went on to just grow more and more in his fight for communism and stuff like that. So, we'll talk more about that in the next part, which is his contributions to the concepts of communism. So, Lenin made many contributions to the concept of communism, including things such as being a massive advocate for Marxism, and he helped form the Union for the struggle of the liberation of the working class. And then he collaborated on a translation of Sidney and Beatrice Webb's Industrial Democracy. He personally published multiple works, which we read earlier this week. Personally, he helped establish the Soviet Union, and then he was the first ruler of the Soviet Union. He also theorized the Vanguard Party and everything to do with that. And then he analyzed imperialism and capitalism and developed or published many theories on them. So overall, he was a big leader in the rise of communism at the time. So that also brings me to the next part, which is whether his concepts have a place in our modern society today and American society today. So Lenin carried out two different specific acts that we have similarity or we can see similarities to in our government today. So these include fighting for workers' equality through like unions, workers' unions, and workers' comp and all that stuff. And then also working to end the injustices in the legal system. So obviously that's a big topic today, and the legal system in our country is obviously not perfect, and so just working to perfect it is something that we work through today. Even though Lenin's other communist concepts were a bit too harsh for the American society today, I think that these ones that I have listed will live on for a long time. And that's it.